When the New York City Council convenes in January, we'll have a new speaker and a new mayor to contend with. Will the relationship between the east and west ends of City Hall change? The Point starts right now. Brooklyn Councilman Lincoln Restler's official biography says he's focused on issues like housing, transportation, safer streets, and holding the mayor accountable. Will those still be his top priorities when the new city council meets in January? So, are those still going to be your priorities?
100%. I'm very excited to work with this mayor to help deliver on his affordability agenda, to deliver on safer streets, to deliver on safer communities. It's been a challenge working with Eric Adams and his team. And I'm confident that Zoran's bringing in high-caliber people. It's going to be a much more effective government, a much more honest government. And I'm looking forward to solving problems with him in District 33 and across the city. But
you do say that, holding the mayor's feet to the fire is one of your jobs. But do you think it's going to be a different kind of a relationship than during Mayor Adams and Speaker Adams, because they were sort of at loggerheads all the time?
Yeah, our job as the city council is to provide fair, independent oversight of the mayor. I hope that there's a balance between partnering with him to deliver on his affordability agenda, and also when we disagree or when we think that they're on the wrong track, we'll say so. We'll hold tough hearings, and we'll try to encourage them to do the right thing. So far, there's been really good lines of communication between the mayor-elect's team and me and my office, and my hope is for him to be a success and to really help make life in New York City more affordable for working people that are struggling to get by. So the goal is to be a partner. Sometimes it's, we'll be tough on him when he deserves it, but the hope is to really deliver together.
I wonder what the pitfalls are, given the fact that, one of the things he's going to have to deal with when he comes in is all those labor contracts that are going to come due. And, how do you do that and deal with all the other things he wants to deal with?
We have despite a very chummy appearance with President Trump last week, we have a federal government that has been taking, has been disinvesting from New York City. We have a federal government that's threatening to send ICE and the National Guard into New York City. We have a state budget that's facing significant cuts this year. And the mayor laid out an ambitious and expensive agenda. So the mayor-elect has his hands more than full. And I hope that we can all, as a city council and the mayor, row in one direction together to make sure that he gets this stuff done.
But see, here's the question. We both know that the money the city has is finite. Whatever the money is, whether it goes up or goes down, depending on the federal government of the state, it's finite. So what has to come? What has to give? I mean, are you going to have enough money to pay for an ambitious child care program for everybody, or will it have to be phased in because there just simply isn't enough money to pay for it all at once?
I think the good news is that the preliminary estimates on next year's budget at the city level and the state level are that things look okay. But it's clear we're going to need new revenue to be able to achieve universal child care. The mayor's agenda is from 6 weeks all the way to 3K to start providing universal child care. That's not going to happen overnight. And so we're going to need a process and a time frame that's realistic for us to find the space, hire the staff, build out these programs. We need to begin that process immediately, and we need more revenue from Albany this year to make that happen.
So what's your preferred source of the revenue? I mean, I know the mayor-elect has talked about, either corporations or taxing the rich, but there are downsides to both of those things. The governor is running for re-election and has said she doesn't want to tax the rich, and at some point, corporations can leave.
Right.
So what do you do?
What Zoran ran on was that we increase the corporate tax rate to the same level as New Jersey, and that we increase the personal income tax rate for the richest, the wealthiest New Yorkers, for the multimillionaires. But the truth is that money's fungible, and the question is that can we get additional revenue from Albany? It could be from a variety of different sources to come into New York City. What matters most is that we find resources to invest in childcare. Right now, it's costing families $30,000, $40,000 or more a year to cover childcare. It's like a second apartment. The #1 demographic of who's leaving New York City right now are young parents because they can't afford childcare.
Right.
So we have to invest in this. We have to create more affordable options. This mayor did basically nothing. So Zoran has to make this the #1 priority out of the gate. And however Governor Hochul and the state legislative leaders want to come up with the resources, at the end of the day, I don't care as long as we get the money to make it happen.
So my question to you is this, in terms of the corporate taxes, if you talk to business leaders, they say that while the taxes in New York, the base corporate taxes don't equal New Jersey, when you factor in the other taxes that businesses pay, like the mobility tax and other things that businesses pay to help mass transit and things like that, it does equal what's going on in New Jersey. So if you raise the base rates in New Jersey, New York corporations will pay a lot more, and that could mean out-migration.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a concern, and if you do, by doing that, do you price businesses out and then it affect the tax base?
We want to make sure that we're keeping great jobs here in New York City and that there's real economic opportunity for the diversity of our city. My recollection is that right now we have the 17th highest corporate tax rate of any state in the country. So there's a fair bit of distance between the 17th and New Jersey, which is the first. And that's a negotiation that needs to happen in Albany this year. But I think that the priority is less that it has to be this particular tax, or it has
Just
to be
have the money.
It's to come up with the revenue. And that's what I hope the city council will partner with the mayor on, to push our colleagues in Albany to come up with the additional funds we need.
So what role do you think the fact that the governor is running for re-election is going to play on what she can do and what she can't do?
The governor has, I think, in stark contrast to Governor Hochul, in stark contrast to Governor Cuomo, has really tried to work well with everybody, to be collegial and to find common ground. And she and Zoran have already sat down, multiple times to talk about how we can try to make elements of this agenda a reality. And childcare has been a huge focus for her. I know it's a big focus for Zoran, and I'm hopeful that she's going to help us on that topic. I know that she's been skittish in the past about raising taxes. It has been a big priority for folks in the legislature. So that's going to be a negotiation that we have to, focus on in the next few months.
I wonder how you feel about the fact that one of the things that the administration, the mayor-elect's new administration is doing, is asking 179 people who are currently employed by the city in the mayor's office, not agencies, but the mayor's office. He's asked for their resignations. Is that business as usual, or is that just getting rid of people who were working for Mayor Adams because you want to have a different philosophy?
Oh, I think it's an eminently reasonable decision by the mayor-elect. We all know there's been a healthy amount of cronyism and corruption in the Adams administration, and Zoran and his team took a look at the political hires that Eric has made and that he put in place, and has told those people that on January 1st, we're going to be bringing in new folks, and we need these lines. We need to be able to slot new people that are aligned with the values and the vision of the Mamdani administration into these positions. So I think that it was a totally reasonable position. This is 175 or 179 positions out of a 300,000 person government. And these are the people who work in political roles that are there to be to represent the mayor. And the mayor is going to be a different person, and therefore you need your own people. I'm surprised that anyone is, I'm surprised by the pushback on this. It seems silly to me.
So as we were taping this show, Julie Menon, council member Julie Menon, announced that she had the 26 votes necessary to become the next speaker. How do you feel about that, and what do you see as the relationship between her leading the city council and the new mayor-elect?
I really want to congratulate Councilmember Menon on this election. She's built an impressive coalition of council members across the 5 boroughs, and she has a great deal of experience that she'll be able to bring to bear in this position, leading city agencies, leading a community board. Julie is really bright and capable, and I wish her the best. I had supported Councilmember Crystal Hudson in this race and worked hard for her, and I hope that Julie's able to bring the whole council together so that we work well as a team, just as we did under Adrian, and that she's a good partner to Zoran Mamdani, because we all need to work together to deliver on the affordability agenda that 1 million New Yorkers voted in support of a few weeks ago.
We have about 15 seconds left. Do you think the mayor-elect is going to sign a pay raise for the city council?
I don't know his position on it. You know, it's been about a decade since the city council has seen a pay raise. I hope that he'll be supportive of it.
But also it would be a pay raise for himself, which would increase his salary to $300,000.
You know, right now the first deputy mayor makes $324,000. The chancellor at the Department of Education makes over $400,000. The mayor is the person in charge of city government. I would have thought he would have been the top paid person.
And a raise for the city council is justified?
I think it is. You know, there are we've seen with inflation and cost of living increases that having a modest cost of living adjustment for the council, I think, is fair and helps attract good people to the job.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it right there for now, but our conversation continues right after the show on our streaming channel, CBS News New York. I'm joined now by Beth Shapiro, the Chief Executive Officer of City Meals on Wheels. And I know that the organization has a goal of ending hunger in New York City by the year 2040. How are you going to do that, especially with everything that's been going on in the country?
It's been a rough year to have set that goal, but it's never been more important. City Meals is focused on homebound older adults, but really want to make sure older New Yorkers get the food they need every day and over time. We can't do it alone. We work with other nonprofit partners, and we will need city, state, and federal government to step up and help fund resources aimed at older adults.
So here's the question. We know that the federal government stopped doing their annual hunger report. How much does that impact the work that you do that's so important in feeding, especially homebound seniors?
Yeah. This year, we're actually quite lucky. About a year and a half ago, City Meals embarked on research to look at hunger among older New Yorkers. And we have data so that it can guide our services and our work. But the USDA canceling that survey puts blinders on the rest of the country, looking at all populations, from babies to older adults, and not giving sight to people who are hungry.
Well, you know, I was moved by the fact that I saw a study that was done by another hunger group that talked about the large number of people in New York City who are food insecure. The number that I read was 1.2 million people in a city of 8 million. That's a lot of people. And that Queens alone had 310,000 people who don't know where their next meal is coming from. What's to be done?
Queens, and then the South Bronx has one of the highest incidents of food insecurity in the country. And we live in a city and a country of great wealth. Funding for food services needs to increase. Funding for older adult services need to increase. Older adults make up almost 20% of the city's population, and yet less than 0.5% of the city's budget goes towards New York City Aging, the Department for the Aging.
So what really broke my heart was when I was reading the reports that said that despite the fact that you deliver meals to these homebound elderly, it's not enough food for them, and some of them are left to eat ketchup sandwiches, which broke my heart.
Mine too. When I heard that, literally, this meal recipient, he was eating ketchup sandwiches to bide his time from his next meal. So we are delivering 1 meal a day. But coming out of that research, we saw 60% of recipients don't have enough. And we've launched a few pilots focused on bringing more food to those folks. The largest at this point is a breakfast box, 30 meals and about 8 pounds of fresh produce going to a couple thousand people as a start. And the results have been phenomenal. The food that it's giving them, the funds that it puts back in their pockets.
But what kind of anxiety does that create for seniors?
You know, there's a fear that is consistent among our meal recipients, consistent with the delay of SNAP funding, that they don't know where their next meal will come from. They're stretching dollars, making hard decisions between rent, food, medicine. 65% of our recipients are surviving on $15,000 a year or less in this city.
So here's the question then. Where does the money come from? And how do you build support in Albany and in Washington to get the money you need so that, I mean, people don't go hungry?
Yeah, that is the question, right? City Meals survives on the goodness of everyday New Yorkers. The majority of our budget is raised from private donations. We have very little government funding, but the government does need to step up and recognize that hunger throughout this country, certainly in this city, is an issue that needs funding. And for older adults, even the one meal a day keeps people out of the hospital, out of nursing homes, which is a cost benefit for the country, keeps them out of more expensive services. So to recognize that and look at it simply fiscally, if you're not going to look at it in a humanitarian way, look at it fiscally, the benefit it will provide.
So why is it so important to track hunger in America?
In a city that is producing more farm goods than it uses and has more money than it needs if it can be appropriately funded. Children need the proper nutrition to learn. All people need proper nutrition to take their medication. So older people, if they are not eating healthily, the medicine they take is not going to work appropriately, and it's just going to lead to more chronic illness and death for some.
So is there any way that you feel you could convince the federal government to go back to doing their annual hunger report so that you know what's going on?
It's going to take all of us, all people across the country reaching out to their representatives and demanding that this be put back into action.
But is it also, I mean, what else is affecting it? Is it high grocery prices? Is it the tariffs that have raised the prices? I mean, what's going on?
I think the tariffs. Here in New York, grocery prices have raised over almost 60%, about 56% in the last decade. For people who have incomes, but people on fixed incomes, that jump is not attainable. You're not able to meet your own needs. And it's lower cost investment on a federal level that can help move the dollars significantly.
So is it possible that, given all the talk about affordability in New York City, that some of that money will trickle down to your program and that you can actually get city, state funds that could help you? Or is it just donations?
Oh, I think that individual donations cannot take the place of government funding. The government needs to step in. And I think talking about affordability is the right answer. And it also needs to include older people, people on fixed incomes.
So let me ask you this. You know, we just had a government shutdown and SNAP benefits were paused for a while. What effect did that have on your program, but also on the homebound elderly who depend on that for existence?
Yes, 30% of our recipients also rely on SNAP benefits. So even a delay of a couple of weeks has impact. They're not getting food. We did 25,000 pounds of additional food in just a couple of weeks. 25,000 pounds? Yes, feeding 9,000 people, getting them extra food during that 2-week period of the shutdown. But that it's not over, right? That has longer term impact.
Right. And also there's going to be more cuts coming down the road.
I think that's part of what's scary for folks, and that sense of unease for older people and fear. They don't know what's coming ahead.
Beth, thank you so much for joining me. We're going to have to leave it right there for now, but we'll be right back. Thank you for joining me. It's that time of the year again. New Yorkers making a list and checking it twice, lining up gifts for the naughty and the nice. They're weighing in on your point. What does the season of giving mean to you?
Just what it says, thinking about others beyond yourself.
It means opening my eyes to the greater world around me.
Being generous.
Doing for others.
Providing something to someone else that's less fortunate than you. Having a little compassion in your heart to find time.
Season of giving means an extra emphasis in consideration for your fellow man, but that's something we should consider every day anyway.
The season of giving means that you give from your heart, not from your pocket.
Well, I love to give all the time.
Okay.
So the season of giving, I just give some more.
So do you plan to spend more or less this holiday season?
I plan to spend Pretty much average the same.
Probably about the same.
Why?
I'm shopping for the same people, mom, dad.
More in the way of donations.
More emotionally, less financially.
Good answer.
I have a new great-granddaughter, so I plan on spending a little bit more because she's going to be 3 years old, and, you know, we just want to spoil her and let her know that she loved and just give her everything that I can.
Are you an early shopper or a last-minute shopper?
More in the range of early.
Ooh, last minute.
In between.
In between, so that
Not too early, but I don't shop last minute.
I do a little bit of both.
We've already started. Yeah, we've already
started already? God
Just
bless
a
you.
little bit. Just
Okay.
a little bit. But we have lots and lots of grandchildren, more grandchildren than I can count sometimes.
Oh, last minute, of course.
How come?
How come? Forgetfulness, procrastination.
Last minute shopper all
How
the way.
come?
That's the best deals.
Ah, you're penny pinching.
Mm-hmm.
I get that. Who's the hardest person on your list to shop for?
My mother.
My mother, always.
My mom.
How come?
She is such a good giver. It's hard to like match what she does. Well, I don't know. Parents in general, they can just kind of get the stuff that they want. So I never know what to, I never know what to get them.
My 48-year-old daughter, because she really doesn't want anything.
My family, because I don't want to let them down.
My wife.
How come?
She doesn't like anything I get her.
Do you have anything on your personal wish list you'd like to get?
Joy.
Just to be with my family.
Vacation.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with
Here
you.
we are, yes.
Where would you
Trip
go?
to Costa Rica.
A beautiful diamond ring.
Okay. I hope you get it. What's on your personal wish list?
About peace, love, and understanding.
I don't want to sound like a cliche, but, you know, peace, more peace.
World peace and good health for everyone.
Personal wish list, peace and love.